My name is Angela. I am a habit strategist and coach, and I have selected the subject of reading food labels today in order to help you kick off a healthier lifestyle for those who don't know how to read a food label. Why I chose this subject is because many of my friends, acquaintances, and even clients, especially clients in the beginning, ask me, so what do I have to do in order to have a healthier lifestyle? Do I have to become vegetarian? Do I have to buy only organic food? Do I have to even go into vegan? Or what do I have to do in order to have a healthier lifestyle, in regards to food? And the thing is that I find is the easiest way and already a huge step into a better lifestyle, healthier lifestyle, is by looking at food label. I want to enable you to read food labels so you can to empower you to make better choices for you and your family. So this is what this talk is about today. And why don't we go ahead and I share with you what we're going to do. Allow me to share my screen with you. Here we go. Let's talk food labels. A simple skill towards consuming healthier food. Now, the first thing I would like to do is to make sure that we're all on the same page in regards to any tips, methods, recommendations I speak out here are for people who don't have a serious health condition. People who... Hello, hi. My name is Angela. I am a habit strategist and coach, and I have selected the subject of reading food labels today in order to help you kick off a healthier lifestyle for those who don't know how to read a food label. Why I chose this subject is because many of my friends, acquaintances, and even clients, especially clients in the beginning, ask me, so what do I have to do in order to have a healthier lifestyle? Do I have to become vegetarian? Do I have to buy only organic food? Do I have to even go into vegan? Or what do I have to do in order to have a healthier lifestyle, in regards to food? And the thing is that I find is the easiest way and already a huge step into a better lifestyle, healthier lifestyle, is by looking at food label. I want to enable you to read food labels so you can to empower you to make better choices for you and your family. So this is what this talk is about today. And why don't we go ahead and I share with you what we're going to do. Allow me to share my screen with you. Here we go. Let's talk food labels. A simple skill towards consuming healthier food. Now, the first thing I would like to do is to make sure that we're all on the same page in regards to any tips, methods, recommendations I speak out here are for people who don't have a serious health condition. People who want to get a healthier lifestyle, but not people who are sick. If you have a health condition and you would like to apply any of the tips I may share, any of the recommendations I may bring forward to you, please check with your health practitioner whether this is suitable for you before you just simply attempt to do it. Because you never know. I would really highly ask you to do that for yourself and for me. Check whether these methods and tips are suitable for you. If not, then they are not. You better stay away from those. All those are very simple things, but you never know. It is very difficult to judge. Now, let's go a little bit about who I am, because I think that is important too. As I said, I'm a habit strategist and coach. I'm a certified integrative nutrition health coach with the IIN in the US. I'm a certified NLP practitioner. I'm a speaker and HRDF certified trainer. And what I do is I guide people, and now I'm looking more towards children. And of course, in that respect, I include the parents strongly, to develop good habits leading to life-changing results that last. I believe that with habits, you can do a lot, and especially with children. If we build those roots in children with good habits, they will stay a lifetime. If you get a child to like vegetables and enjoy vegetables at a young age, it is very probable that this adult, the same person as an adult, will continue enjoy vegetables and take it forward to the next generation. Same thing with not so good habits. I call them naughty habits because bad habits is very heavy. Override not so good habits with better habits. So we remove the not so good habits and replace them with much better habits. That is how I think it's the easiest way for us to go towards a healthier lifestyle. I'm a German national. I've been in Malaysia for the past 23 years. I came for the 17 Commonwealth Games in 1998. That was my first employment here in Malaysia. I'm very proud having been part of this amazing event. And altogether, I have spent 35 years in Asia, because when I was a child, from the age from 2 to 14, I lived in Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh. I only came back to Germany when I was 14 years old. So I'm what you consider a third culture kid. TCK is the abbreviation. So I have 35 years of living in Asia in my history. I have a 17-year-old daughter, and this is important to mention because she's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing today, or through her I found what I wanted to do. In 2014, she was discovered by the back then Malaysian wakeboarding national team coach. His name is Alfizal. Because she was a hobby wakeboarder, and he saw a huge potential in her, and he wanted to work with her. And so Ariana started training intensively, and in 2018 she was invited to join the German national team in wakeboarding. And since then she has been training, of course, except for the last 2 years. We have been traveling the world to international competitions, European championships and other championships, and even world championships. And when she started training in 2014, I realized that nutrition is really important, because I realized even though we were not unhealthy eaters, I considered us not unhealthy eaters. I realized I had to do more. And then I started, teaching myself on Google, but I found that it was very difficult for me to judge whether this is right or whether that is right, because, Google brings all different kinds of information, and then you're in the middle and you're like the sausage in the sandwich in the hot dog, and like, is this right or is that right? If you don't have fundamental knowledge, it's very difficult to be able to make your own decision, and to have the empowerment to say, I know what I'm talking about. I think this is more towards what I believe this is better for us in our context. So I didn't want to rely on Google only, and I decided to study at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And that's how I became an integrated nutrition health coach. So originally that was only for my daughter and me. But then when I started the course after 6 months, I said to myself, I learned so much. I was like, you can't keep this for yourself. You have to share this. You have to help people. You have to tell people, to guide people to find their better way of healthier lifestyle, not only in food, in sleep, in stress management, time management, etc., etc. So that's how the whole story started. So I graduated in 2017 and decided to go professionally in that direction. Big change of horizon. I mean, change of sail, boat went into a completely different direction. And that's how I started working as an integrative nutrition health coach. And when I started working with my first clients, I realized how important habits is. And for me, the role of habits in our lifestyle, making it better or not so good, played a huge role. And that's where I started concentrating on habits. And I decided to work with building habits for people, strategizing in the sense of finding what is the best habit, how do we integrate it into your life, because everybody's different, and how to change habits. It's, people talk about breaking habits. I prefer to say overwriting habits, because it's breaking is very hard, but overwriting slowly is easier, and converting them into better habits is possible in many cases. So that's how I turned into a habit strategist and coach. Now, before we go into details on the subject, I would like to talk about the definition of healthy, because it is very important that we all agree on that we are all on the same page. The definition of healthy, what is healthy, what I define as healthy, mean not what you define as healthy, or you define, or you define. We all have different definitions of healthy. The definition of healthy is relative, because what I consider as healthy, you might think is completely, that's not healthy, that's nonsense. That's absolutely, you may be on a completely different level. Let's take two examples. Let's take Peter, for example. Peter is self-employed. He's 35 years old, runs 5 kilometers every day, and he sleeps 8 hours a night. And his New Year's resolution for a healthier lifestyle, the next level towards a healthy lifestyle, the perfect lifestyle, is stop eating processed food, although he likes sausage and cheese very much. That's the definition for him to get to the next level of a healthier lifestyle. Okay? So, fine. That is healthier and towards a better lifestyle in his definition. On the other hand, we have Susan. Susan is a working mom. She's 27 years old. She works as a nurse. She has shift hours. She doesn't work regular hours. So it's very difficult for her to get an everyday routine, because the routine, changes every time because of her shift. And because she doesn't have a routine and she has 2 small kids, she's just overwhelmed. She buys takeaway, fast food takeaway every night. Doesn't have to be the worst one, but it's always, some Mama stall or something like that on the way. Every day she brings something else, but it is always outside food, takeaway food, kind of fast food. Now, her New Year's resolution is 2021 was to reduce fast food or takeaway food from 5 or 6 days a week right now to 3 days a week, and find a way to get into her routine, to build up a routine on those days where she can, to make home food and not my takeaway food anymore. So do you see the difference between, one is saying from complete fast food, I go to 3 times a week, where others might say 3 times a week, takeaway food, outside food, that's really unhealthy. But for her, it's the next step to a healthier lifestyle. So what I mean to say is, each one of us have their own standards. And that's why what I do with clients, it's never the same, because everybody has a different background, has a different target, has different circumstances and different definition of healthy at the stage where I come in. So we should not be judgmental and say, oh my God, that person is so unhealthy. What do we know what they have done in the past? Maybe they were 10 times worse in our eyes and are actually already very good. Because by the end of the day, for me, my philosophy is, this is my quote: you don't have to be perfect. Just become better every day or if you can't, then every week, and if you can't, every month, if you can't, every quarter. Decide what, sorry, I have dogs. Decide what suits you, what is feasible for you, and just become better. That is already the step to the next perfect. Perfect is difficult to achieve, but better is something that you can achieve every day, step by step, and you will be successful. That is what I would like you to always remember. Whatever you do, just become better. So now we're going to talk about labels. And I will disappear now because it will disturb. I will have to move my picture all the time. And anyway, you see this and you hear me, and that is the most important part of it. The purpose of this presentation is to enable you to better understand what you put into your trolley when you go grocery shopping, and for you to be able to pick the best item possible for you. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, just better. To get the best products for you and your family, to make healthier choices in what you put into your pantry and your fridge. The first chapter is going to analyze sugar, but before we get there, let's have an initial overall approach. Okay, sorry, here we go. This is what a food label looks like. I chose a simple example. Unfortunately, food labels vary a lot because there are different food labels here in Malaysia. Then you have the food labels from all the products that are imported. So there is a huge variety of food labels. And therefore, I have decided to kick off your knowledge with two essential categories, which you will find on the majority of labels, local and international. Many people, when they look at a food label, get confused and think that reading a food label requires high standard of mathematical knowledge, that it is a complicated mathematical equation. But rest assured, it is not very complicated. It is actually quite straightforward and not as complicated as it may appear to you. And let me guide you through now. Let's go back to the sample and let's focus on the bottom paragraph of the label. You see, I highlighted it here. Star percent daily values are based on a 2,000 calorie. Now, this star relates to, if you look further up on the screen, on the food label, there is the nutritional facts, then there is a thick line, another thinner line, and right under that is percentage, printed percentage value with the star. Now, this star and the highlight that I made belong together. It means that the information on this label is based on a 2,000 calorie diet. 2,000 calories is kind of a very average rule of thumb of the advised amount of calories an adult person should take in per day. This is per day, as it says, per day, based on a 2,000 calorie diet, daily values. 2,000 plus or minus calories per day. This is a very average number, as it does not take into consideration whether the person is very active, in which case he or she may need to take in more than 2,000 calories. It does not make a difference about gender. It does not make a difference on age. So you see that this is really a very average rule of thumb, a huge thumb, I would call it. Very huge thumb guideline. But we need some kind of guideline, and this was then fixed as a standard guideline. Now, let's focus on, let me put this away for you. Let's zoom into the food labels and go step by step. Now, let's look at this blue circle. These nutrition facts state that one serving is equivalent to 106 grams. Next line, it states that the container holds first serving. So container is whatever this food label is put on, whether it's a package, whether it's a jar, whether it's a bottle, whether it's a tin, whatever it is. That's why it has a standard definition of container. Those two lines above the big fat line provide information of the content of this container or package or jar, whatever this container is, as a whole, the information as a whole. So let's just say this is a small package of chips, for example. That means that each serving of chips is about 106 grams, an average serving, but maybe equivalent, for example, to a smaller bowl. And the entire pack of chips can fill like these 4 kind of bowls. It's 4 times 106 grams. So far to the top of the food label. Now let's look further down into what is below this thick black line. There we go. As you can see, there are 2 thick black lines on this food label. Just now we looked at the top and identified the amount of what is in the entire container, package, or whatever it may be, right? This portion now, in between the 2 black lines, gives the detail of each serving. In this case, 1 out of the 4 in total, equivalent to 106 grams. First, we find information on calories. Accordingly, each serving has 240 calories. Always keeping in mind that this is an average adult, very big thumb rule, should take in around plus minus 2,000 calories. As you see on this label, the label content states the fat, cholesterol, sodium, total carbohydrates, protein, and at the bottom you find something about vitamins. Note that behind every of these ingredients I stated, we have an indication on weight, as in gram or milligram, right? And in bold behind that, a percentage. This percentage refers to the number of calories, the amount of calories that ingredient holds as in a 2,000 calorie diet guideline. So for example, 16 grams of fat stated here are not 16 grams of fat in the container, but 16 grams of fat in 1 serving, which is 106 grams. As a quick reminder, this is the amount in the container, package, or jar. Now let's do some math. Let's break down those diverse numbers a bit more. Serving size is 106 grams or 4 ounces if you prefer. 4 servings per container. The total calories per serving is 240, right? But you have to multiply by 4 because this pack has 4 servings. So this means you multiply the 240 calories per serving by 4 for the number of servings that are in that container, which adds up to 960 calories if my maths are right. Now, this package of, let's say, chips represents 960 calories out of an average 2,000 calories. That means more or less 50%. Imagine this was a package of chips, right? By eating the content of the whole pack of chips, the 4 servings, you would have covered 50% of the calorie intake for the day. If you're an average person, as it is, still short, very generous, very big thumb rule. Only by munching this pack of chips, anything else you eat would be extra, or rather could even be excess if you were a non-active person, not burning a lot of calories, or if you were a child, because that's not the only meal you have other meals. So if you accumulate a lot of, you eat other snacks and foods too, you might get easily above the 2,000 calories. So today we will have a closer look into the sugar and the fat content, just for this training purpose. So let's go deeper. Let me suggest we go deeper into sugar. Now, sugar comes in various versions. We have white sugar, brown sugar, molasses, stevia, many varieties. Some more refined, some less refined. Options are available today. But let's not forget that sugar is a source of energy. The body needs sugar in order to be active. But excess is not healthy. And the choice of what sugar you take also plays an important role, because Mother Nature has come up with excellent sugar resources, which is fructose, for example. So that is part of what we can look into today, so you can make better choices in regards to sugar. Because excessive sugar can contribute to, yes, consumption of sugar on a regular basis, and or other excessive sugar consumptions in your life, or that of your child. For example, let's say sweet soda, sweet treats, sugar-enriched cereals for breakfast, etc. It can strongly affect you, and you or your child may become malnourished. Sugar can affect heart diseases, can be a cause sadly supporting heart diseases. It's very unhealthy for the teeth. It's not good for your joints. It affects your kidneys, your skin, etc., etc. Much more. Now, we were just talking about malnutrition. And people often interpret malnutrition solely with lack of food, but that is not the only root of malnutrition. So I would like you to look at the definition of malnutrition by the World Health Organization. Malnutrition refers to deficiencies, excess or imbalances in a person's intake of energy and or nutrients. The term malnutrition covers 2 broad groups of conditions. One is the undernutrition, which includes stunting, it's called stunting, low weight for that age, wasting, which is low weight in comparison to the height, then underweight, low weight as in regards to the age, and micronutrient deficiencies and insufficiencies, which is a lack of important vitamins and minerals. The other is overweight, obesity, and diet-related non-communicable diseases such as heart disease, stroke, and cancer. Very important that we understand what malnutrition is, because that plays a role on what we are talking about. It is not only not having enough food, it is having excessively lot of bad choices or not so good choices in food. Can have the same effect. I thought it would be good to have a look at a real life food label. This is a product many parents get for their kids. It is a spread-on bread, and in the Western world, it is very commonly served at breakfast, and also it's a very practical snack in the afternoon or on the go. I used to get it from my grandmother for breakfast and at school as a school snack to take along every day when I went to school, because I had to school while I was on holidays in Germany, because in Pakistan we had very long holidays and my parents didn't want me to be off holidays for so long, so I had to go to school. So grandma always packed this for me. Now that you know more about labels, you recognize that there are a total of 45 servings in this container, right? The very top. And each serving is 15 grams, first blue circle. 15 grams is equivalent to, more or less, one smaller size tablespoon of this product. The sugar represents 8.4 grams in a serving of 15 grams. So how much of the container is representing sugar? Less than 50% or more than 50%? Okay, if 15 grams, let's say 15 grams divided by 2 is 7.5. So out of that tablespoon, half, more than half, more than 50% is sugar, because it's 8.4 instead of 7.9. So that means if you have 45 servings, it's 45 times the same story. That means more than half of this container is filled with sugar, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. And if you look at the column next to the per serving, you will find that more than 56 grams out of the 100 grams of this product is sugar. It is 56.3. That confirms it is more than 50% of this product is sugar. Now, sugar as a source of energy, okay, but more than 50% of a nutritional product, that seems excessive to me personally. I find that very much too much. This is another product many kids and also adults take for breakfast, also here in Malaysia. You are now more familiar with the labels, even more, I assume, and I guess you are already calculating and making your own opinion about this product, right? Okay, a side note. I do not share with you which products those samples we analyze are, simply because I want you to look at labels without prejudice and studying and figuring out by yourself. Make decisions and not judge because of my opinion or what I tell you today. Build your own opinion and decide how far you are okay to go with sugar, for example. Knowledge and building your own opinion is empowerment. And that's what I want to give you today. I hope this session encourages you really to read more about sugar and fat and the other ingredients on the food labels so that you make your own opinion. And if you would like to have information where you can find such information, please let me know. I'm really happy to share with you. Okay, let's go back to the sample. Now we have 9 servings in the container. A serving is considered a cup and is equivalent to approximately 41 grams of the product, right? Top blue circle. Total sugar. Total sugar is 11 grams, but let's go into the 9 gram added sugar because we have the percentage. It makes, it gives us a better picture of the calculation. 18% of calories of the 9 gram added sugar here cover more or less 1/5 of the daily 2,000 calories diet. That means 1 cup of this product covers about 1/5 of a daily 2,000 calorie intake, the calories worth. And again, not to forget, 160 calories per serving, as you see under the blue circle on the top. Let's say you take 2 cups as breakfast, bigger breakfast in the morning, and 1 in the afternoon as a snack. This sums up to 160 calories times 3 servings is 480 calories. That's a bit less than a quarter of your daily recommended intake. That's still okay-ish, right? Provided your other meals are not very high in calories. If you have other snacks, if you only have, you know, your main meals and they're richer in calories, that should be fine. But if you snack a lot, if you have many of those snacks plus your main meals, you might get overboard. So be careful, even though there's not a lot. If this is only a snack, let's say you do 3-4 of those in between the day plus your main meals, you may run over your average calories. Now, case study 3, this is a sauce. One of those sauces you add to your cooking or you serve alongside with a meal or a snack. Something like ketchup, chili sauce, hoisin sauce, soya sauce, this kind of stuff. Okay, by now you should be able to do a quick analysis already. I give you 30 seconds to look at it yourself and do your calculation before we share the nutritional facts. Have a look at it. 30 seconds, off we go. Okay, what have you discovered that is in a way irritating? It states here, serving size is 18 grams, right? But as you see in this case, it does not specify how many portions, how many servings go into that container. So we can only work with the serving information. And this is, remember, I referred to earlier, this is what I referred to earlier when I mentioned that food labels don't always follow the same standards. We have local, we have international, you know, and different rules and regulations in different countries and different sectors. So that is why we have to take what we have and work the best with it. And if you are not satisfied with the food label, then don't buy that product. Buy something else where you can get more out of it. Just because that brand is what you normally take and you realize that this is insufficient, then find another, test another one out that you feel more comfortable because you have more information. Let's go back to the numbers now. Serving size is 18 grams. Calories per serving, 126. Sugar per serving is 18 grams. Sugar per serving of 18 grams is 7 grams here, second blue circle, right? That means less than half, but more than 1/3 of the bottle is filled with sugar, am I right? That seems very sugar enriched to me, and the information provided here seems very limited in comparison to those we have seen before. I hope that with this short intro about sugar, you will next time when you go shopping, have a look at the products you buy or look at those you currently have in your pantry. Go through your pantry and have a look. Don't turn the front label, what it is. Turn the back label, the back of the bottle to you, and have a look at all those food labels and see what you're buying. Familiarize yourself with those labels. And for example, next time when you go shopping and you need to buy strawberry jam, for example, then don't look at the front, look at the back first. I want you to now, I wish I could convert you into label readers and not brand readers. And look at the quality that as much as you can figure out on the back of the container and not only look at the front of the container. And compare. If you buy strawberry jam, then look at this one and then pick another one and turn them all over. Don't look at the brand. Forget about the brand. Look at the labels and compare according to your knowledge where you stand today. What is the best choice I can make? And again, it is not about being perfect. It's just making better. You might not find the perfect product. It may not be possible for you to find what you really want, but you can find better. And finding better is already a huge step. So that is what I hope this short introduction on sugar could encourage you to do. Look at the back. Don't look at the front anymore. Read products from the back, not from the front. Don't look at the brand, but look at the food labels and make better choices. Now, the next thing we are going to talk about, the next chapter is going to we're going to talk about fat. Quick reminder, refresher, first step, serving size, how many servings per container, calories per serving, grammage per serving, and percentage of calories in the overall average 2,000 calorie diet. Easy, right? Serving size, 106 gram. Serving, it's the same one that we had the sugar. I just took out the sugar, and this time we focus on the fat. Serving size 106, 4 servings in the container, repetition, 240 calories in the 106 gram serving. Total fat, 16 gram is 25%. That makes 1/4 of the 2,000 calorie diet. Remember? Now, you see that this has, so if you look at total fat, you have saturated fat and trans fat. So there are 2 fats under the category of fat. Let's look into further details on that. For many years, people considered that trans fat is very unhealthy and that saturated fat, on the other hand, was considered to be good fat. That trans fat is understood to be bad is very clear on this slide, I believe. But the saturated fat I have blurred a bit as it is no longer considered 100% safe and healthy. We will go into details. And this brings me to a very important matter. What I share with you today is what I found to be the latest updates. And this presentation is proof of what I'm going to tell you and advise you to do. Always check what is the latest discovery. What was true yesterday may not be true today. Research is ongoing and new elements are found which may change the entire picture. I did this presentation 2 years ago at my daughter's school for the first time, and I have modified it twice since because things have changed. Remember, just a few years ago, cholesterol was absolutely frowned upon, right? It was categorized like poison. And now we distinguish between good and bad cholesterol. Interesting turn, right? The picture has completely changed. And this can happen because research discovers new aspects, and we need to be aware that food is not like maths. 2 + 2 will forever be 4. But what is good in our opinion to eat today may be less good tomorrow. Other things that were not considered very healthy today we may found things that are so good in there that the little bit that what was not so good is actually irrelevant in comparison to all the good nutrient values this product has. And all this happens thanks to all those amazing researchers out there. Trans fat is not good. And trans fat, please avoid as much as possible. It's the short version for trans fatty acids, and it comes in food that contain partially hydrogenated vegetable oils. These are really not good fats for you. You can find them, for example, in French fries, donuts, deep fried fast foods, so fried foods, and margarine, vegetable shortening, baked goods, cookies, cakes, pastries, processed snack foods, crackers, microwave popcorn. The last two are things that, you know, on many cookies and products you buy in the supermarket, crackers, etc. You may find an amount of trans fat, although the tendency is to really reduce trans fat because every manufacturer knows this is like a no-no. People are paying attention to that, and their products become less popular and not so easy to be sold anymore. So trans fat is, you will see very often, very low numbers or even zero. Because trans fats also contribute to heart diseases. They very strongly support in the wrong way obesity and many other unhealth conditions. Now let's go into saturated fats. Saturated fats are mostly animal fats. They're found in high-fat meats and dairy products. For example, fatty cuts of beef, pork, and lamb, dark chicken meat, and poultry skin. Skin, for example, is really fat. High dairy foods, whole milk, butter, cheese, sour cream, ice cream, cooking cream, cream, and tropical oils, coconut oil, palm oil, cacao butter. And saturated fats are usually are easy to be recognized because in at least the Western world, they are solid at room temperature, which is not the case in Malaysia and our part of the world because it's just too hot. The coconut oil is still liquid. It is never like in my mom's pantry, a thick white, hard stuff that I have to really take a spoon and take it out with a spoon. In Malaysia, many of those are not solid. And saturated fats have part there where they come in as a very healthy they can support a very healthy diet, which is the coconut products, including unsweetened coconut flakes and coconut oil, grass-fed whole milk, yogurt, and grass-fed milk are just some example of highly nutritious foods concentrated in saturated fats that may positively support the heart. And it is beating happily. On the other hand, we also, as I mentioned earlier, we have a part of saturated fat that is not so healthy, which affects your health, which can contribute to negative effects. And this is processed foods rich in saturated fats, including fast food and fried foods. Let me move this. And which has contributed to obesity, heart disease, and numerous other health conditions. So when we talk about saturated fats, there's a new guideline, relatively new guideline, excuse me, which says you should limit your saturated fats to less than 10%. Actually, if you read further down, to less than 7% of your total dairy calories. That means 140 to 200 calories or 16 to 22 grams of saturated fat a day. So when you look at your label, see that even saturated fats are low in numbers, in percentage, as well as percentage of calories, as well as in gram on your food label. Now, let's go back to our label And remember, we have here, excuse me, sorry, we have total fat. Let's look into the focus into the fat again. We have total fat 16 grams, saturated fat 14 grams, and trans fat 0 grams. But for me, the math says 16 total fat minus 14 saturated fat minus 0 trans fat. Where are the remaining 2 grams? Now, the first 2 are the ones that you find in the food label, right? The monounsaturated fat and the polyunsaturated fat are fats that are not mentioned they don't come up as a detail under the fat category because many health practitioners consider those 2 more as heart healthy fats, and as they are not hazardous, considered not hazardous, they don't have to be mentioned. In the sense of everything that is good doesn't have to be mentioned, everything that is bad has to be highlighted. So that's why those fats are not mentioned. Now we have also the omega-3 fatty acids and the omega-6 fatty acids, which are also not mentioned. And the reason why they are not mentioned is because they're also considered to be beneficial to our health. Omega-3, for example, appear not to only decrease the risk of coronary artery disease, but they also help to lower blood pressure, apparently, and guard against irregular heart rates. And the following foods contain omega-3 acids, fatty acids, and that's salmon, herring, sardines, and crab. Eat fish, walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds. That's why we see more and more seeds. And in the omega-6 fatty acids, there will be more seeds, different seeds, but mostly. That is why so many people go for seeds, and you find more and more varieties of seeds in the shelves. And then we have canola oil. Now let's go to the omega-6 fatty acids. Let's have a look at those. They're in tofu, roasted soybeans, and soy nut butter, for example, walnuts, again, seeds, as I mentioned, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, and then vegetable oils such as corn oil, safflower oil, sesame oil, and sunflower oil. So all these fats, sorry, let me move this around, excuse me. So all these fats are not mentioned as they are not considered harmful. And therefore, details are not required to be stated. To close this session, just a few points to remember why we should still take in sugar and fat. Because sugar is a carbohydrate that occurs naturally in many foods. And the body mostly uses carbohydrates as an energy source. Sugar, and the way Mother Nature has created it, is good. But then avoid those, especially the white powder, that are the refined sugars from the supermarket. In regards to fat, so sugar is, for example, if you exercise, sugar gives you the spike, gives you the energy, but after, for example, after 20 minutes of exercise, for example, the body depends partially on calories that come from fat to keep on going. So if you have a longer training, the sugar may not be sufficient, so the body goes into the resource and picks up the fat and says, okay, I need some more help. So it pulls from the calories from the fat to be continued, to not fall, to not fall and be completely exhausted, but to be able to continue. And you also need fat to keep your skin and your hair healthy, and fat strongly supports your brain function. And that's why I personally think we should not go too much for those low fat or no fat products, because our body needs healthy fats. So this is what I had to share for now. I went into two of the ingredients that you will find on the majority of the food labels, because those are nearly in every, I don't remember having not seen fat and sugar. So I thought those are the two that will help you to kick off your implementation of what you have learned today. And I really hope that this is very helpful for you. And I really hope that you go out, and that I would love you to get this habit. I would like to install this habit in you of looking at the back of the label and not at the front of the label. Look what is in there really. Don't look at the brand only. Look at also what is inside, and make a choice. Allow yourself to bring home better products. It doesn't mean you're not, because every chip has, most of the chips don't have overload of fat, or overload of sugar, or overload of sodium, whatever. But if you still have a craving and it's part of your life, and you just, you can do, again, it's not about being perfect. You can make better choices by picking up 3 different labels this time, and choose the best one out of it. Take it home, taste it, see whether you like it. And if you like it, then stick with it. And maybe 6 weeks down the road, you go again and you compare whether you find even a better one. See whether take it home, see whether you still like the taste. If you don't like the taste, then go back. It is already better than what you had before, right? It is about getting better. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to stop chips unless you have a health condition, of course. But reduce it and make the better choices. And I hope with this food label reading, I have given you I opened the door for you to say, okay, I'm going to take this into my hands. And from now onward, my home, my family will have better choices, healthier choices. And for today, I have a special WooBiz offer, which is a free 20-minute habit assessment session. Because what I do is I help people create habits, create new habits to make a better lifestyle, and that is creating routines, working on time management to reduce stress. It is about your sleep. Let's not forget your sleep. There are so many different issues where that change of habit can improve your overall well-being. And I don't only look at one, I look at different angles and strategize on habits that suit you for your lifestyle, with your family, in your country, at your time, and right now. And that is what I do. And if you're interested, I'm very happy to give you a free 20 minutes habit assessment where you talk about what you do, and I can look into what I can do for you. And in order for you to get in contact with me, those are my details. Again, I'm Angela Eimer, and this is my LinkedIn. The best way is either WhatsApp 012311694 for Malaysia with the 6 for overseas, and LinkedIn. Those are my preferred ways of communication. Best is LinkedIn, because WhatsApp, there's so much nowadays, I'm always afraid that I might miss someone. And otherwise, you can always contact me first, and then we can go via email. I'll send you my email details. I didn't want to put too much information here. But these are the sources of information where you can reach me. And I really hope that you will, that I could trigger something in you that you're going to make, that you're going to attempt to make better choices. And that is my wish for you, and my wish for me. It would be nice to hear that people have taken something home and that they're turning their life into a better life. Thank you very much for being here with me today. And maybe I'll talk to you soon. And any questions?
All right, thank you so much, Angela, for the wonderful sharing here today about food label reading, a simple skill towards consuming healthier food. I see that from our chat box here, there are so many positive comments ongoing. Everybody is so aware about the food label reading from now onwards. So I think, Angela, you did such a good job sharing with us about how can we identify, how can we read from food labels. So Angela, I think there are a couple questions here from the floor. Let me read it out to you. One of them is actually asking, how do we measure low GI? Because it's not stated in food label.
No, low GI. GI is not stated in food label because that's really a bigger formula. So in that respect, that would be too complicated for people to understand, and it is very individual how your digestion works, etc. So if you would like to, I think the question came from Vivian, right? Is that correct?
The question came from one of our audience.
Okay.
Chen.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to share some information with that, on that. But it is not stated in food labels. And as I said today we didn't go into cholesterol, we didn't go into sodium, because I have different parts of food label reading. But I picked fat and sugar because I think those are the things that people, is something that you're so brainwashed with. No sugar, why no sugar? No fat, why no fat? But why also fat? That I chose just those two sections to talk about, to kick off food label reading. If you read those two, as I said, don't look at this anymore. Turn around. Buy this. Don't buy this anymore, right? And so yes, GI is not stated on food labels, and it goes more into it. That's more a chemical thing. Yeah.
Okay. So the next question we have is also from Chan. Extra virgin coconut oil is good for cholesterol, and so is cooking oil, palm vitamin E. How is it Western countries disputing?
I think it's because there are two reasons, in my opinion. This is my personal opinion. One opinion is it is still something strange in the Western world. We're not really used to it. You see, when we talk about food, like the labels right now, like I mentioned, they're different everywhere. There is no 100% standard, because certain things are more relevant in this country than in that country. And of course, you adapt accordingly. So coconut oil, etc. Yes, in the Western world becomes more and more known, but it is still something that is restricted in comparison to the traditional oils that were used, right? So people are hesitant. People don't like change. People are hesitating, except for those who are really interested into food. My grandmother would not move to coconut oil. Forget about it, right? And even my generation, I know people, over 50 are just like, because it has been like this for so many years, I'm not going there. So we always have to look at the circumstances, on the tradition, on the cultural backgrounds, right? So coconut is an exotic thing for us in the Western world, in Europe, let's say, for example. It's very exotic, right? So coconut oil is like, seriously? Why don't I use my sunflower oil? I've been using it, grandma's been using. Sorry, I have dogs. I can't shut them off. My apologies. That's life. And the other thing is also the awareness about how palm oil is produced, the environmental factor, where that is also one of the reasons, in my opinion, why the Western world is very questioning the values of palm oil, not from a nutritionist point of view here, but more from a environmental point of view. I know, for example, my brother, everything that contains palm oil is not going into his household. That's their thinking, right? So, it's people are different, people have different values, and I think that is also, in regards to palm oil, one of the reasons.
Okay.
I hope that gave us so far satisfying answer. If not, please contact me. I'm happy to chat more about it.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question, because I'm seeing that there are more questions coming in, but we'll just go for one more question.
Okay.
Because, next, from Lim, what is the sugar intake for a normal and diabetic person per day?
Please, this is so individual. I don't want to touch this because it depends. Again, as I said, sugar in general and diabetes also. People have their different levels of diabetes, right? And it also depends. It depends on your entire food intake, activities, etc. So there is I'm not a doctor to tell you exactly what to do. This is where I'm saying, please go back to your practitioner and talk to him. If you became aware today about certain things, that's great. But I would not like to give a rule right here, right now, a set statement that would apply to everybody, because I cannot do that. That is not within my comfort zone. So I would rather recommend, those are very specific questions. I would recommend to discuss this with a health specialist, really, and or your doctor.
All right. Thank you so much, Angela, for answering that. For those of you, if your question is not being answered, please feel free to reach out to Angela. So You've seen her number earlier on. And of course, we've also included her LinkedIn link at the chat box. Please contact Angela if you have any further questions for that. So once again, thank you so much, Angela, for that wonderful sharing.
Thank you. May I if you have questions, I'm opening my e-booth every morning from 10:30 to 11 and from 3:30 to 4, except for 21st and 25th. You will see the details, where you can come in and we can have a chat about things like that. It's about habits in general, but we can also chat about things like that. And I'm happy to share information with you if you want to have a live chat.
That's great. That's great. All right. So we'll see you soon, Angela, in your e-booth. Ladies and gentlemen, please also do stay tuned, because right after this, we have the second section. In Wooby's track, we have Joyce Wong. We'll be talking about stay on your A game, effective stress relieving methods. So once again, thank you so much to Angela and to all of you here for participating, for joining in this session, and for these questions as well. See you real soon, Angela, and the rest of you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.